I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys, a First Chapter Friday read-aloud video with the Word Nerd. Today as you listen, play along. Watch for the story quote that will appear on screen. Write it down, word by word, and then follow the instructions given to you by your teacher. Stay all the way to the end to see if you've written it down correctly. Teachers, press pause here a minute and talk about the items that you see on screen. See if together you and your students can make a prediction about what this story is going to be about. Then press play and listen to Chapter 1.
Hi, my name is Amanda Zieba. Welcome to my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd, and another First Chapter Friday video. This week I'm going to be reading from I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys, and it's going to start with a teeny bit of a warning, and that is that typically on this channel I usually share books that are solidly in the middle grade range. This book is just a little bit higher, and I would put it in the young adult range. I just looked it up on Amazon. They list it as ages 12 to 17. But if you're the kind of person like me who has very vivid dreams and has a hard time reading about hard, sometimes violent things, the end of this book has a little bit of that in it. It's historical fiction about a hard period of time. And so I just need you to know ahead of time that stuff is in there. I'm going to put a little bit of a trigger warning down in the video description box. You can double check for sure to make sure that this is a good fit for you. All that being said, it is an amazing book. Ruta is going to be joining my Word Nerd Collaborative Author Lunch Bunch in a few months. And when I asked her, what book do you want me to promote and share with students? This is the one she said, and so I am so glad that I picked up a copy and I gave it a try, even though it's outside a little bit of the norm of what I read, because it was an incredible and powerful story. If you liked, for example, A Night Divided by Jennifer Nielsen, a historical fiction with some suspense, you're going to love this one. Personally, I'd say 8th grade and up, but you know yourself best. So enough rambling about that. I'm going to read the back so you know what the story is about, and then we are going to dive into the prologue and into chapter 1. Romania, 1989. Communist regimes are crumbling across Europe. 17-year-old Cristian Florescu dreams of becoming a writer. But Romanians aren't free to dream. They are bound by rules and force. Amid the tyrannical dictatorship of Nicolae Ceaușescu in a country governed by isolation and fear, Cristian is blackmailed by the secret police to become an informer. He's left with only two choices: betray everyone and everything he loves, or use his position to creatively undermine the most notoriously evil dictator in Eastern Europe. Cristian risks everything to unmask the truth behind the regime, give voice to fellow Romanians, and expose to the world what is happening in his country. He eagerly joins the revolution to fight for change when the time arrives. But what is the cost of freedom? Master storyteller Ruta Sepetys is back with a historical thriller that examines the little-known history of a nation defined by silence, pain, and the unwavering conviction of the human spirit. This book is incredible, and I'm so excited to share it with you. Actually, we're going to start with a prologue, and the prologue says, "Beneath the Gilded Frame." Sub Rama Poletia. My Romanian is far from good, so I apologize if I mispronounce that. They lived in darkness, breathing shadows, hands plunged deep within their pockets, hiding frozen fingers balled into fists. They avoided the eyes of others. To look into the face of fear brought risk of getting trapped in its undertow. But somehow, invisible eyes, they were forever upon them, even in the darkest darkness, watching, always watching. Romania's perpetual sense of surveillance. That's how it's been described. The burden of a secret storm. This is not recited from memory. There was a student, a young man in the capital of Budapest. He wrote it all down, then feared it was a mistake. We speak of mistakes. Some believe that Dracula is the most frightening character associated with Romania. When they learn the truth, will it haunt them? Dracula is fiction with no real connection to Romanian history, but there was once a real bloodthirsty monster living in a castle in Romania. He remained in his tower for 24 years. While Dracula chose specific victims, this other monster chose to be evil and cruel to everyone. He denied them food, electricity, truth, and freedom. The citizens of Romania were stoic and resilient, but they suffered a terror of tyranny. How many, you ask? 23 million people. Names and history largely unknown. Then, a metal box found next to a grave. Inside was a manuscript. This is how one boy told the story. Chapter 1. Fear arrived at 5 o'clock. It was October, a gray Friday. If I had known, I would have run. Tried to hide, but I didn't know. Through the dim half-light of the school corridor, I spotted my best friend, Luca. He walked toward me, passing the tedious sign shouting from the concrete wall. "New men of Romania," the sign said. "Long live communism, the bright future of mankind." At the time, my mind churned on something far from communism, something more immediate. School dismissed at 7 p.m. If I left at the right moment, I'd fall into step with her, the quiet girl with hair hiding her eyes. It would feel coincidental, not forced. Luca's tall, thin frame edged in beside me. "It's official," he said. "My stomach is eating itself." "Here." I handed him my small pouch of sunflower seeds. "Thanks. Did you hear? The librarian says you're a bad influence." I laughed. Maybe it was true. Teachers referred to Luca as sweet, but said I was sarcastic. If I was the type to throw a punch, Luca was the type to break up a fight. He had an eagerness about him, while I preferred to evaluate and watch from afar. We paused so Luca could talk to a group of loud girls. I waited, impatient. "Hey, Christian," smiled one of the girls. "Nice hair. Do you cut it with a kitchen knife?" "Yeah," I said softly, blindfolded. I gave Luca a nod and continued down the hall. "Pupil Florescu?" The voice belonged to the school director. He lingered in the hallway, speaking with a colleague. Comrade director shifted his weight, trying to appear casual. Nothing was ever casual. In class, we sat erect. Comrade instructor lectured, bellowing at our group of 40 students. We listened, stock still and squinting beneath the sickly light. We were marked present in attendance, but we were often absent from ourselves. Luca and me, we wore navy suits and ties to Lecao. All boys did. Girls, navy pinafores and white hairbands. Embroidered badges sewn onto our uniforms identified which school we attended. But in the fall and winter, our uniforms weren't visible. They were covered by coats, knitted mufflers, and gloves to combat the bitter cold of the unheated cement buildings. Cold and dark. Knuckles aching. It's hard to take notes when you can't feel your fingers. It's difficult to concentrate when the electricity snaps off. The director cleared his throat. "Pupil Florescu," he repeated. "Proceed to the office. Your father has left a message for you." My father? My father never came to school. I rarely saw him. He worked 12-hour shifts 6 days a week at the furniture factory. A slithering knot coiled inside my stomach. "Yes, comrade director." I proceeded to the office as I was told. Could outsiders understand? In Romania, we just did as we were told. We were told a lot of things. We were told that we were all brothers and sisters in communism. Addressing each other with the term comrade reinforced that we were all equal with no social classes to divide us. Good brothers and sisters in communism followed rules. I pretended to follow rules. I kept things to myself, like my interest in poetry and philosophy. I pretended other things too. I pretended to lose my comb, but really just preferred my spiky hair. I pretended not to notice when girls were looking at me, and this one I pretended that studying English was a commitment to my country. Words are weapons. I'll be able to fight our American and British enemies with words, not only guns. That's what I said. Our weapons, of course, was called Preparing Youth for Defending the Country. Our weapons course was called Preparing Youth for Defending the Country. We began training with guns at 14 in school. Is that young or old compared to other countries? I remember jotting that question in my secret notebook. In reality, my desire to speak English had nothing to do with fighting our enemies. How many enemies did we have anyway? I honestly didn't know. The truth was, English class was full of smart, quiet girls I pretended not to notice. And if I spoke English, I could better understand song lyrics that I heard illegally on Voice of America broadcasts. Illegal, yes. Many things were illegal in Romania, including my thoughts and my notebook. But I was convinced I could keep everything hidden. After all, blankets of gloom are thick and heavy, good for covering things, right? I proceeded down the dark hallway to the office. I was an idiot. I didn't know yet. And if you want to find out what happens next to Cristian in this incredible and powerful story about the Romanian Revolution, absolutely pick up a copy from I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. And if you want to join me for a virtual author visit with Ruta, comment down below and I will send you the information. Thanks so much for joining me for this First Chapter Friday video. I hope you will come back next week for more. I'll see you again next time. Happy reading.
To continue reading I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys, pick up a copy from your school library, purchase one from your favorite local indie bookstore, or grab it via the Amazon link down in the video description box. This week's mystery manuscript says, when we don't know the full story, sometimes we create one of our own. Thanks so much for visiting my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd. I hope you come back again for more First Chapter Fridays, brain breaks, direct instruction videos, and more. I'll see you again next time. Happy reading.